As a human being, the hero's journey is perhaps the last great adventure on Earth, and one that's uniquely ours. Recognisable to us in mythology and fairy tales, it portrays the inner journey of self-knowledge, the quest to answer the ancient question familiar to us all: who am I? As with all adventures, it's a journey into the unknown, with our own unique inner trials and barriers to face along the way. The jewel on offer is our greatest resource and of infinite value, bringing connection, joy and hope, something that we can bring back to share with our friends, families, loved ones and community. The revolutionary hero's journey self-inquiry technique is one of mankind's most powerful psychotechnologies, informed by practices reaching back over 2,500 years. It puts us in touch with the felt aliveness of our fundamental adequacy, who we ultimately are before we're at any identity or role, cutting through beliefs about ourselves as well as states of mind and attitudes. This is self-realisation arrived at through self-inquiry. It carries no dogma or creed, there's nothing to believe in, and no one will tell you who you are. We offer a technique which is understandable and practical for the Western 21st century common man or woman. In his book, The Hero with 1,000 Faces, Joseph Campbell outlined what is called the monomyth, an archetypal story with a singular script that's woven throughout all ages and cultures, revered for its description of the psychological journey necessary for the well-being of both the individual and the collective. Its protagonist is the hero character, a psychological motif based on overcoming obstacles and achieving that which is most worthwhile. The hero's main feat is to overcome that which is most oppressive and scary, often depicted as the monster of darkness, the long-hoped-for and expected triumphant emergence of consciousness out of the unconscious. What's found, claimed, discovered and revealed as a prize or reward has been known as the Holy Grail, the Philosopher's Stone, the Fountain of Knowledge, the Elixir of Life and the Pearl Beyond Price. But what are they referring to? To quote Joseph Campbell, "The goal of the hero trip down to the jewel point is to find those levels in the psyche that open, and finally open to the mystery of your self-being, Buddha consciousness or the Christ. That's the journey." Traditionally known as enlightenment, kensho, awakening, gnosis or union, it's a prize that can only be experienced for oneself, in the same way that we can only know the taste of salt by tasting it. The self-realisation that occurs strips away misconceptions that awakening is impossible for us or out of reach, somehow limited to members of secret societies or those that live in caves or monasteries in the mountains. Awakening to who we are is the birthright of everyone and utterly achievable, with many people having a direct experience of who they are on their first Hero's Journey retreat. Some directly experience who or what they really are on their deathbed, and there's often both a joy in this revelation alongside a sadness and a sense of loss of what could have been. So why wait? This is for us to know right now. The earth needs awake people now, perhaps more than ever. We're committed to doing our part in shedding the mass-limiting illusion our society is feeding us to help realise the true connection and capacity we inherently have available to us right here and now. The journey starts with a sense that there might be more to life than we're experiencing, that something may be missing or not quite right. This can show itself through depression, anxiety, sadness, despondency, a sense of lack, of not being gotten or understood. There's a pull to knowing more. Through the dualistic use of language, we've been encultured into seeing ourselves as separate beings in a world of objects, leading to alienation from ourselves, from others and the world around us. We've adapted by self-identifying with our persona, often in order to please others and conform to expectations we've internalised. We identify ourselves with the roles we perform and the things we do. In doing so, we lose touch with who we truly are. We may have tried many things to fill this hole: endless entertainment, alcohol, food, sex, relationships, spiritual practices, travelling, therapy, to name just a few things, and still have a sense of something missing. By coupling ancient self-inquiry techniques with modern partner-based communication cycles known as dyads, and setting an intensive 3-day retreat, the Hero's Journey process is a honed, efficient way to reveal your true nature. The root of the word dyad comes from the Greek duad and Latin dyas or dyadis, meaning two units treated as one. In this respect, they're a partner-based communication tool that help people gain insight, which comes about as a result of two people coming together with the shared intention of arriving at an understanding. On the Hero's Journey retreat, two individuals sit opposite one another. One is the listening partner, the other the contemplating, communicating partner. The listener gives the instruction at the beginning of each 5-minute cycle, "Tell me who you are," which the contemplating partner receives and tries to answer, by first getting a felt sense of themselves and then intending to directly experience whatever's there that's arisen as a result of contemplating and remaining open to everything. As the contemplator, whatever occurs within your body, mind and emotions, from the intention to directly experience who or what you are, is then communicated to your listening partner without adding anything or leaving anything out. The process is repeated until the 5-minute gong sounds and the roles reverse. The listener simply offers their presence by watching, listening and trying to understand, without nodding, commenting or evaluating in any way. It allows the contemplator space and time to work things out for themselves, which is a rare opportunity in life. Each period of dyads lasts 40 minutes and each partner has 4 turns as the contemplator and 4 as the listener during each period. After this time you swap partners and sit in front of someone different. When we do this, the mind and body becomes very open and clear. By continual interaction and the presenting of what arises in the contemplation of oneself to another, the process of awakening to who one is accelerated. When given the instruction, "Tell me who you are," our natural over-reliance of the brain's left hemisphere to rationalise, control and evaluate is used to our advantage. Through negation, what the ancient Greeks knew as the apophatic process, or in India, neti, it's not this, it's not that, we help it run out of ideas. Eventually, the left hemisphere gives up. Simultaneously, by having the explicit intention to have a direct experience of who we are, we move towards the primary actuality of direct experience, the domain of the right brain hemisphere. Psilocybins and certain plant medicines work by overwhelming the left hemisphere, whereas the Hero's Journey technique wears it down and closes the gap between ourselves and our experience. Instead of observing or maintaining a gap between ourselves and the object of our experience, like in forms of mindfulness, we look to close the gap and move into our experience whilst remaining open to everything. By communicating as our experience instead of talking about it, giving embodied expression to how we are right now. Both ourselves as subject, together with the object of our experience, dissolve, so that there's no us and no it. The Hero's Journey dyad technique brings us to a single-pointed and spacious state of mind, often known as samadhi. This is the most fertile ground for awakening to occur, and where, by grace, realization occurs. This knowing of self, in the biblical sense of knowing, the union of opposites that occurs in the coming together of subject and object, brings a change in perspective in how we relate to everything, an awakening out of our own egocentricity. The great news is that we don't become a nothingness and disappear. We remain completely ourselves with an identity and all the little idiosyncrasies that makes us who we are. Although we have a totally new perspective on life, we awaken to something that was always true, only we never knew it. The retreat itself is a specially designed container that keeps us looking at ourselves long enough for awakening to occur. 3 days is enough time to enable us to give it a really good go with everything we've got. And it's heroic in the sense that we need to be self-honest in order to find freedom. This is a safe place where one can do such personal and important work, and where there's a level of contact with self and others that occurs that people often don't get with therapy due to the shared nature and equality of the dyads. In each day, there are typically 12 dyad sessions interspersed with walking contemplation, periods for eating and rest, gentle energy exercises like Qigong, as well as a talk to keep us motivated and on point. Having another offer presence to us in this way is something that we may never have experienced before. The live sense of another turns up the gas on the process. The likelihood of awakening is also greatly enhanced by the shared intent to awaken, both personally and as a group. It allows a group energy, an energy that helps in the awakening process, to build throughout the retreat. Socrates described dialogus, as two souls communicating. From this place of not knowing answers, either for ourselves or another, and simply doing the technique whilst following the simple rules and schedule of the retreat, it leads each one of us to our own self-realisation, as if by a golden thread. You can further deepen your understanding by working with other instructions, such as tell me what you are, tell me what your true nature is, tell me what this is, tell me what life is, tell me what another is, or tell me what the body is. At Hero's Journey, we believe awakening to who one is to be the first step into a new journey. From here, life just seems to go better. People progress in terms of personal understanding and creativity so much more easily. More than this, it gives us an ongoing methodology of engaging with our own somatic aliveness that's non-hierarchical and rooted in love, truth and justice. At the end of each retreat, there are integration exercises to help us transition back into life, and also the opportunity to participate in a follow-up course to aid integration. Furthermore, there are completely optional weekly online dyad evenings that help keep us in conscious contact with what we've found on the retreat and be in community with other like-minded people. The Hero's Journey retreat is suitable for those that identify as spiritual but not religious, atheists, as well as for those that have faiths, and skepticism is encouraged. The main requirement is that you simply want to know who or what you are. Come and find out for yourself.